Lush tropical hills and valleys in Papua New Guinea. Someone's crossing a stream, others walk alongside a main road, and a group of local kids huddle together. A sign reads, "Welcome to Goroka, Eastern Highlands Province." Buildings in town, then a hut on stilts with locals from several generations outside. A sign from Goroka pastors fraternal reads, "Keep Goroka town clean," and religious placards are set up on poles around the villages. A crowd of spectators gathers at a football game. ISHMAEL from the Papua New Guinea Assembly of Disabled Persons says, "Some time ago, I worked with a child who couldn't move his whole body. He just looked at me standing in his house, and a big smile came to his face. It made me think that this is my line of work, working with kids, making them smile." With a gratified smile of his own, ISHMAEL nods humbly. Local boys crowd around ISHMAEL near the sports field, high-fiving him and returning his grin. They toss a football around. On screen, Singaut Bilong Pikinini, Voices of Children with Disability, Papua New Guinea. ISHMAEL's on a rainy hillside in a waterproof jacket, jeans and trainers, limping along a dirt track, his twisted left leg affecting his stride. He says, "Growing up in PNG with a disability is very, very hard. You experience plenty of discrimination. Many people won't talk with you. Using a stick to support himself on an uneven slope, he stumbles and falls in a patch of wet grass, then gets up again. At the base of a hill, ISHMAEL pushes through undergrowth. He says, "People look at you as though you are helpless or diseased." He jumps over a small waterfall, leaping onto a boulder on the far bank, then scrambling over more rocks. He says, "Parents often won't send their kids to school because of their disability. For me to go to work, I need to walk through bush and on slippery roads. I walk 1.5 hours. I walk down to the field and catch a four-wheel drive." Emerging from tall grass, he waves to the waiting ute and gets into its passenger seat. The road winds along the base of lush hillsides and through tall forest where people are walking alone and in groups at the roadside. ISHMAEL gazes out the open window of the ute. He says, "Children with disabilities have a voice. They want to say something, but until now we haven't listened." Getting out of the car, ISHMAEL embraces a tall teenager called Aaron, who has holes in his green t-shirt. Help him life goal. ISHMAEL continues, "They want to help their communities. They have good ideas. They have intelligence." Aaron walks between rows of crops in a field, then picks green berries from a low tree and puts them into a bag slung over his shoulder. Later, he's signing with ISHMAEL in a wooden hut with a grass roof. ISHMAEL says, "I asked Aaron to draw something important in his life. He drew household appliances which would help him at home. He drew a new house, which he has actually built himself." Aaron signs, "That is a drawing of my new house which I have been building every day after school. It's now finished and quite comfortable." Aaron stands in the doorway of his wooden hut. ISHMAEL says, he also drew a man fixing a pipe because when he grows up he wants to be a plumber. ISHMAEL grins and nods as Aaron explains the drawing to him. Aaron's father Laki says, "When I first realized that Aaron was signing to me, in a language I didn't understand, I felt like crying, so I started to look into learning sign language. I stopped crying and was happy to be able to talk to my son." Laki and Aaron conversing in sign. Laki continues, "Things aren't like they used to be. It's the modern day. There's a lot going on. I have to make sure that he understands man and woman and how to be a responsible young man." Aaron playing volleyball with some other young men. Ishmael says, the way that Aaron and his family communicate really inspires the community to see that disability is not the end of your life. Storm clouds over distant mountains. It's raining when Ishmael travels back in the four-wheel drive, gazing out of the window, then makes his way on foot through the bush. He says, whilst working with disabled children, I have developed several tools. He clambers over a stile made from a forked stick, then jumps off the other side of the ramshackle fence. He says, I use pictures, photos, drawing, sound. If I listen to them, I can learn much. I learn plenty of things. Sitting with a teenaged boy called Isaac, he plays something on the laptop and says, yes, children at school. Isaac says, school is very important in my life because one day in the future it may help me to work and care for my parents. I have a dream, so I practice my braille. I'd like to be a teacher for the disabled. Sitting in his room, he reads a page of braille in the rusty ring binder. He continues, I'd like to teach disabled at school so that in their future they can be somebody. Isaac in a yard with some other boys. He says, I used to experience discrimination. Children would call me names, but now people speak well to me and treat me as an equal. Ishmael plays something else for Isaac on the laptop. Isaac says, church is important in my life. It helps keep my community together. If you're sick or lost, it can help. Attending church, Isaac sitting next to his mother, who's breastfeeding a baby. Ishmael sitting at the back of the thatched church hut, smiling as he sings. Isaac's mother, Mana, says, people in the community understand that Isaac is blind. They also know how clever he is. Everyone knows how much he has to offer his community. He can contribute. We do not want to change Isaac or his impairment. We love him just the way he is. With twinkling eyes, she nods and smiles. On a misty day, Isaac's digging a hole for a new plant in a banana grove. He says, my hope is that the government will acknowledge children with disability, particularly in remote areas. A school in this remote area would be helpful. My parents and I would benefit from this. Ishmael says, if we can learn more about what's important or needed in the life of these children, then we can provide better support and help them more. Sitting with Isaac, he shakes the boy's hand warmly and they share a grin. He continues, the government and other organizations can step in and be strong in support. At a hut beside a stream, Ishmael's walking with a little girl called Emma. He says, the first time I met Emma, she was frightened, but then after 2 or 3 visits she began to trust me and come close to me and we began to work well together. Emma says, I learned to draw and Ishmael always listens to me. Food is important to me, fish is important to me, banana is important to me, cocoa is important to me, carrot is important to me, coconut is important to me, flour is important to me. Ishmael says, working with Emma, I observed that she draws a lot of food. From this, I learned that not all children are getting enough good food. Some children are not getting enough nutrients to grow strong. A woman and her 2 little boys are washing dishes in a pan of water. Emma says, when I go to school they say, you have a double finger, your legs are twisted, you have a problem with your heart. Although they tease me at school, I keep on going because it's very important to me. When I grow up, I want to be an air hostess. I want to visit other places. In a vast blue sky, a lone bird is soaring beneath wispy white clouds. ISHMAEL says, "Something that I learn about Emma is that Emma likes to share everything with her sisters. It shows me that although Emma has a hole in her heart, she has a big heart to help others." ISHMAEL watches Emma shower her baby sister with the packaged food he has brought. Emma says, "I want to help my family." She digs in the garden with her family, then grins as she plays a clapping game with a younger sister. Later they're sleeping, snuggled close together on a bulky plastic sack with two other siblings. She says, "My dream in the future is to help everyone in PNG." ISHMAEL makes his way up a stony path on foot. Crossing back over the stream, he clambers from boulder to boulder, then takes a dip in the flowing water with his shirt off. Laughing children watch from the bank and splash in the water with him. He says, "I'm not perfect or that good at anything really, but at least people with disability, children especially, can see someone living his dream."
Or Pikinini especially,
He and the kids splash each other playfully. He says, "Here in my community, I'm planning to build a resource center for disabled and non-disabled people." ISHMAEL stands in a grassy clearing in the rain. He continues, "This site is very important to me because it represents the hope of my people, my province and country for an inclusive society where everyone gets along and can work together."
Country, lokamapim, inclusive society where all ketaman na meri, all can boom na walk one time.
Beaming faces of local residents, young and old, disabled and non-disabled. Some of the children look serious, others wear smiles full of hope. Crowds gather in villages to wave and grin, holding aloft footballs and umbrellas. Sunset over the forested hills suffuses the entire sky with gold. Director Casimir Burgess, producer Elena Jenkin, executive producers Matthew Clark and Erin Wilson. Music composed by G. Telek, D. Bridie and J. Phillips. For further information visit www.voicesofchildrenwithdisability.com.